Good afternoon. Here we are, 3 p.m. on the dot. I'm just going to wait for a few of you to come in before I start, just so I don't have to repeat myself. And thank you for those that are right on the button today. I really appreciate it. Let me see. You're welcome to make comments and say hello. So, hi, this is Gwenda, the Fearless Prophet of truth. And I'm delighted to be one of the WA Independent Media crew. If we haven't met before and you haven't encountered me before, get ready, strap in for a ride that may really stretch you, because that's what I'm into. I'm into stretching you. I want for you to be able to see this palaver that's playing out around you as you are seeing it. Hey, Bob's Jackson Steger, nice to see you here. And my Facebook user, hello and welcome. And thanks for saying hi. I've got a number of things that I want to share with you. Max Freedom, how you going? Share with you today. And it comes from a very different space. How about it comes from a very different time and space? The bells of alarm are ringing once again. So I want to put up here for you. I'm not as flash as our our courage girl. This is official use only, and I'm putting it here for the little numpties on YouTube to be able to see. So when they want to say that, something is misinformation, disinformation, well, they can go along and they can check this document out. This document is what was up on the World Bank. Oh, look, there goes Mr. Whippy. Anyone for an ice cream? That's a whole other story about programming, which is where we're going to go today. So this document, the World Bank, it was up on their site for all to see and obviously for all to download, because that's how I got hold of it. And what it talks about is the strategic preparedness of what we've come to know to be the COVID-19. In this document, it states everything that they were planning and that they had financed for this little project, is what I'm going to call it. Now, this project was to start in March of 2020, and it is to finish in March of 2025. Let that sink in for a moment. The World Bank, if you don't know who they are, then please do yourself a favour and go and have a look at their website. The World Bank are very proud to sponsor and provide finance for everyone that was involved, all the countries that were involved in the COVID-19. COVID. It's a bit like Coven, isn't it? COVID-19 debacle. And I'm going to say to you here that they actually state on their front page with an overall financing envelope of up to US $6 billion equivalent, of which up to $4 billion for health financing is provided. Aren't they a treat? Aren't they wonderful? So, the World Bank. When you go into the World Bank and you find out a little bit more about who they are involved with, who is a very appropriate word, because look at that. There's the archived WHO timeline. WHO, yeah. World Health Organization is who is. And I'm not an owl. So they have got, and you read that, this statement is no longer maintained. An updated version was published on the 29th of June 2020. There is some really interesting things to read on this. Why do I bring this to you? Because we have seen an unprecedented amount of deaths, injuries, life-changing moments in this last 3 years. Would you agree? If you want to know who is driving that, pardon the pun, who is driving that? It's not just who. When you go on to the WHO website and the World Bank, you discover that they are closely interlinked. In fact, their beautiful sphere of connectivity is with UNICEF. Ever sponsored a child through UNICEF? You might like to think twice about that now. It is with Gavi Alliance. Now, Gavi Alliance, I have some documentation on as well. And what an interesting read that was. Gavi Alliance, of course, is who a lot of people know as Bill and Linda Gates. And I'm going to say names today because they are public names. There is no constriction on, or whatever word you want to use, on their names. And they're proud to put their names out there. Now, when I first went and looked at Gavi Alliance back in 2020, finding that they were part of the WHO and the World Bank, the very first page, which I did take a screenshot of, so for any YouTube fact checkers, I have got the screenshot that shows and tells. Oh, you like that? Show and tell from school what they were about. What I was absolutely amazed at was they stated that they had come to find, this is the Gavi Foundation, Bill and Linda, whatever their name, Gates are, Bill and Melinda Gates. What they were offering was to be able to provide via the financing of the World Bank and WHO to provide stabs in the arm for children in poorer countries that could not afford what the wealthier countries could afford. And it was actually written on this site that they had created a lesser vax, because these poorer countries couldn't afford what the wealthier countries could borrow, in brackets, afford, from the World Bank. Now, doesn't that make you think there's something going on here? If you're going to make a scene for, I don't have a speech impediment, for a particular issue, why isn't there one? Why is there one for the wealthy and a lesser for the poor? Please give yourself time to think about that. There was also an underpinning requirement from those poorer countries. And this is written on the Gavi website, Gavi, whatever it is, Gavi website, that there would be an endless flow of children available for that little sting. When I read that, I was incensed. How dare they? How dare they decide that there is one sting for the wealthy and a different sting for the poor? Does that not ring alarm bells for you? So we move forward now. And if I could play a beautiful combination of music for you today, it would be from John Lennon, Imagine. Go and read the words. Michael Jackson, Heal the World. Go and read the words. Queen, It's a Bit of Magic. I told you at the beginning I'm going to stretch you today because I've sat back, I've been in the thick, I've sat back, I've been in the thick and watched over this last 3 years. And now I'm watching the bells of alarm start to ring again. I'm not going to follow it down that same path. When I very first spoke at one of the first rallies here in Perth, my talk was on emotional resilience and mental tenacity. Many of you will have heard the term clean eating, right? Have you heard the term or thought about clean thinking? It's time for you to delve deeper into your thinking and to understand the impact of your thinking. Your thinking, your actions to your thoughts create your reality. And no, this is not woo-woo. I don't do woo-woo. I don't do fluff. None of that BS. Why would I want Queen, It's a Kind of Magic, to be one of the songs? And if I could play it, I'd play it loud for you right now. But I'm going to ask you to go and look at the rest of the words because it tells you about what you're facing now. Now, in that document that I have from the World Bank, remember the timeline, March 2020 to March 2025. Now we are in, as far as I know, 2023, which means they've still got this little parameter to mess with you. And that's exactly what they're doing, unless you're going to step up and do something about it. You see, the words in Queen's song, It's a Kind of Magic, states, one dream, one soul, one prize, one goal. And if I'm going to get into trouble for quoting songs, well, so be it. One golden chance of what should be. You are the golden chance of what should be. Every time I spoke at rallies, I referred to the people that attended as the champions who were willing to step out. That song of Queen's goes on to say, one shaft of light that shows the way. Now, that might be, out there for some of you, or maybe a lot of you. But you know what? It's time you found that one shaft of light. And it's time you understood having clean thoughts. It's time you understood who you listened to. These warning bells that are being played around the place, they are still in the place of fear. They are still in a place that holds you constrictive to believing the story that's being played out to you. And I know a lot of you are not going to like this today. I don't care. I really don't. Those of you who understand, those of you who really want to see a bigger world, a greater world, you will stay for the journey and you will stay for what it means to be that one light and to show the way with that one light. If I could be a gospel singer right now, that's exactly what I would do. The bell that rings inside your mind, it's challenging the doors of time. That is another phrase from Queen's song, It's a Kind of Magic. Please go and read the lyrics. Let yourself understand the lyrics. We have movies. Now, I'm going to push your boundaries a little bit more with that. But we have movies across the decades that provide us with messages one that's out presently called the Barbie movie. If you believe that there are messages in that, well, that's your level of consciousness. That's where you sit, and that's absolutely fine because that's good for you. If you believe going to see the movie about freedom of the children, and you believe that that's really good, then fine. That's where you sit with your level of consciousness. The questions I have to ask you is, after you've seen this incredible Barbie movie, how does it change your world? How does it help you change the world around you? What difference did it make to your understanding of a greater world of peace? For those of you who have gone and been distracted by the movie, The Freedom of the Children, and not for 1 minute do I condone anything to do with abuse of children, animals, or anything of a living kind. Not for 1 minute do I condone it. But for those of you who've been drawn away and very cleverly caught in that little web of distraction, web of deception, what are you going to do? So you've seen the movie, yahoo, you're aware now. And look, if I sound cynical today and sarcastic, well, suck it up. Because the fact is, what difference have you made to one of those children's lives by you going to see that movie? And really, you believe that that movie was made for some good? Where your consciousness is, that's your choice. And it's your right. It's your right to be in that. There's no problem. When you want to be able to make a difference to this world and you want to be a contributor to how humanity goes forward from this she-show that's been going on, you will not go and see movies like that or movies like Barbie or play into the AI trap. But hey, if that's where you are, then that's where you are. If you are in a higher level of consciousness and you understand what it means to use that light to be the way of a greater world, then there is a big difference. I mentioned, have you heard of clean eating? Right? If you've ever been to a gym, if you've ever been to wanting to lose weight, get fit, get healthy, get whatever, then you are bound to have heard about clean eating. Food stimulates your emotions. Your choice of food stimulates your thinking, your reactions, your responses. Have a look at the food that you are drawn to and you eat, and they will equate to the level of your thinking, your responses, your reactions. So if you are currently being caught up in there is another situation coming, then I'm asking you to go and look at the words in the song. John Lennon's song, Imagine. Michael Jackson's song, Heal the World. Queen's song, It's a Kind of Magic. And I'm going to ask you to embrace those words. I'm going to ask you to shift your thinking. I am not a fan of science. And when I see people using the word science around soul work, interconnection with a higher sense of awareness, I turn my back. Because if you need science to prove things like that, then you've lost your way. Now, I told you I won't mince my words, and I'm not here for the fluff and puff show. I'm here to help you drive this world into a greater place of divinity, a greater place of unity, an incredible world of all the miracles that happen here every minute. Now, in every minute that I've been with you so far, someone has died because it was their time. Maybe they died because of complications of something they've had put in their system, but you're not to know that. And in every minute that I've been here with you now, there have been several new lives come into this world. Now you are here as an adult. What kind of world are you going to generate for those new arrivals? And what kind of farewell are you giving to those who have left? Many of you saw my recent interview with Dr. William Bay, and that man, as far as I'm concerned, is a man of incredible integrity and courage. Where are the rest of his peers? Hiding behind Save Themselves, that's where they are. Where are the rest of the people who say they don't believe in this, but they're going to wear a mask because it's easier? Hiding behind their own self-preservation, that's where they are. So you see, everybody has their own limited perspective of what life is about, of what this world is about. Are you aware that this, candid thing, it was not worldwide? It was only contained to the countries who sign up with WHO. And if you go and look at who the countries are that sign up with WHO, it is not all the countries of the world. Begin to expand your awareness. Begin to expand your thinking. Clean up the thoughts that you have running around dictating to you. And where are they dictating from? They're dictating from the garbage that is spewed out there. Are you aware that our own Indigenous people in the central lands of Australia had no idea about the big, scary thing? They had no idea. Neither did a lot of ethnic groups in Australia, in your own backyard. Why? Because they don't have a TV. They don't get a paper. They don't have a radio. They don't have internet. So they don't know. And they were not seduced by the story. But you were. How are you going to be seduced this time? Remember, it's 2023. Yes, it's August of 2023. So we've got until the end of March 2025 before this hubbub project, as it is called, on the Gavi site, the WHO site, and the World Bank site. Project. Nice to be part of a project, isn't it? So you've got that space to decide. What are you going to do that is actually going to make a difference to your life and therefore to others? You know, people are always so sorry for the things they never said when a loved one dies. They are full of, I wish I had of. I wish I'd picked the phone up. I wish I'd rung them. I wish I'd gone and seen them. I wish. Well, you know what? Nothing's going to change about that. That is a human failing. So it doesn't matter what is taking place that you're assuming is taking place or that you are believing is taking place. What matters is how you love the people around you right now. Right now. Because as someone who sees those who are in the next world, oh, look out, there's another little stretch for some of you. But that's been my life, and I don't really care what your attitude is towards that. But I can tell you that everyone I work with is always sorry that they didn't spend more time, that they didn't listen more to the ramblings. So where are you being distracted to? Where are you going in your thoughts? What is taking your energy away? Because if you have loved ones around you, you cannot get that time back. You cannot make up for anything. Listening to the words of those songs that I've brought to you today, I hope will bring you a greater awareness and have you pay more attention to what is actually happening around you right now, because that's what matters. Let's have a look at some of the deeper supposed issues. And there's a reason that I say supposed. So we have the misinformation, disinformation bill. Well, I'm going to say to you straight away, have you read the book called The Book Thief? If you haven't, I suggest you go and get it. It is a brilliant story about the way of the Nazis. It is a brilliant story that will help you understand and bring you to a greater awareness of what you are perceiving presently. And while we're on that, think about what we are told. History, right? How do we know? It's just what's been handed down. So as far as we know, there was this one man, Hitler, which apparently now it turns out that no, he was driven from the UK. His orders were from the UK. Well, where do you go with that? That's never been in the history books, has it? And of course, the atrocities and the things done to the Jewish people, and sometimes even to the German people. But what I want to lead you to out of that is there were survivors. I personally don't like that word. It's actually a cop-out. It's another way of saying I'm not a victim. Words matter. So, survivor of the Holocaust, survivor of the Nazi war or the Nazi-generated war. The fact is, when you look through history as we have had it presented to us, there is always those who come out on top. Now, you either choose to be one of those people and you're going to drive it, you're going to be part of that change, you're going to be part of that greater humanity, or you're not. And that doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Whichever path you choose, it's right for you. So go do it. But for those of you who want to make a greater impact and who want to see a greater world, clean your mind, clean your thoughts, look at where you're taking your energy. I, along with the rest of the crew, met with one of two, well, there's a few of them, but one of two senators that made it look like they were telling the truth, made it look like they were interested in everything that was happening as a result of lockdowns and masks and the stabbies and all the rest of it. Liars, absolute liars. I stood with that man and I can tell you he was empty of energy, an empty vessel, empty space. You can challenge me all you like, but I can tell you, you better be able to see the way I can see if you wish to challenge me. And I don't mind being challenged. 1 minute. There was no warmth. There was no genuineness from that senator. There is another senator here in WA who has made a lot of noise and going to make a lot of change and has got letters off to the Queen. Was the Queen. Now it's the other one, the King. Claims to have letters in the courts. And you need, as a humble person, you need to start looking differently and asking questions differently. Don't listen to the spew of these people. And they do spew it. I saw someone say, oh my God, isn't he amazing? He can just run those numbers off. Oh, what do you think? He is practiced. He is skilled. He is trained. Don't be fooled. Gracious me, people. It's time for you to seriously take command. Be the masters of your thoughts. Be the masters of what you want to believe. And then, if that's what you want to believe, you go right ahead. That's yours to do. Your level of belief, your level of consciousness, your level of understanding, it's where you're at. But don't put it on everybody else. Right? If you're going to listen to the likes of a Professor Zimmerman, Pauline Hanson, Senator Rennick, Senator Roberts, whatever, then make sure you know what box you're in, because you've boxed yourself. Absolutely boxed yourself. Start to open your mind. Start to have a look at the thoughts that you follow. And it's time for you to throw some garbage out and really have a look. So there's another hot topic, the voice. And I've been asked a number of times what my thoughts are on the voice, and the only word I can say to you is division. The other word is devious. There has been no truth offered to anyone. There has been no clarity offered to anyone. And now there's stories circulating all over the place about what's going to be on the ballot vote, what's going to be in the referendum. It's not going to make any difference to the Indigenous people of Australia. And for those of you who want to say, I'm born here, so I'm Indigenous, you need to go and find out what it actually means, because I've had you up to my neck. So outdated thinking drives your life. And when you decide to step back and have a look at who it is you're listening to, if you're listening to a politician, oh man, you are seriously in outdated thinking. How you can possibly believe a politician who is in the system is really there speaking the truth to you is just laughable. Absolutely laughable. Move from knowing your thoughts to knowing more on a different level. Move to understanding the things that are put in front of you. Red pill, blue pill. The matrix. Which one are you going to take? Which way are you going to go? You know, there was no mistake when they made that movie and they plugged them in to the back of their neck. There happens to be a huge energetic portal at the back of your neck. These movies are full of incredible mysteries being answered, messages being put to you, but the average person misses them. Same as going to see the movie about the Freedom Kids, so forth. I want to say to you right here and now, if you are in WA or you're in Perth, why don't you go down to Banksia prison and find out what happens there to the kids, and then tell me what you're going to do about it. If you're in other states, go to the juvenile prisons over there, find out what goes on, and then tell me what you're going to do about it. But no, in the meantime, you've all been suckered off, distracted, so that you can be aware. Oh, wow. And so that awareness helped how many kids? That awareness changed the life of what? What kid? Anybody? Didn't change the life of anybody. It didn't change your life either. So a quote that I have today from Tess Lynch, a writer and essayist, says, "Oh my, how the world loves a cage." I've written my own quote on that, and I say, "Oh my, how the people of the world love a cage." So when you want to look at the things that are going on that you perceive to be going on around you, I'm going to ask you to stretch your awareness. Make some wiser choices. Look beyond what is being put in front of you. Look beyond what you are reading, what you are hearing. Climate change. Ho hum, how boring. Another distraction. Shortage of water. There's no water in Australia. Oh, what a load of BS that is. But people believe it. So instead you have this sewage water and you accept it. Because there's a water shortage, there is no water shortage. There is an incredible amount of water within the earth and the governments know it. So for everybody that is truly awake, which means people who have gone beyond the conscious mind, you understand this, but it's time for you to also look deeper, know differently, and begin to expand your energy. Any of you who have got a remote control start for your car, a remote control for your television, a remote control for your stereo, do you never wonder how can you press a button from inside your house and your car starts? It's energy. That energy that can permeate through the brick walls, through the garage wall, beyond a car park. Do you never wonder how that works? You sit on your couch and you change channels on your TV. Do you never wonder how that works? It's called energy, and they are energy waves. Can you see it? Can you see the little that goes across and through the bricks? No, you can't. So how come you believe it? Oh, because you can see your car start. And that's the sadness. That's the greatest sadness in this world, that people are willing to believe what they can see, but they will not believe what they cannot see. You believe in the wind. Why? Because when you have this thing fluffle your hair around, you go, oh, it's the wind. Or you see the trees and you go, oh, it's the wind. Who says? Oh, that's right. You were told that's the wind. So you take it on. Do you see? Everything is a part of a construct in this world, the matrix. Everything is part of a story. How you want to perceive that story is entirely up to how you have been raised, how you have decided to live your life. Everything about how you want this world to be is under your control. Oh, yes, it is. They're like, no, it's the government, it's the government. No, it's not. It's how you want to react with that and how you want to take it on. So when we're looking at the next run of the nonsense, how are you going to make it different? How are you going to make it a different space for your children, your grandchildren, you? Because you are still living in this world. You have a presence in this world. What are you going to do with it? How are you going to make it different? Going up to see movies about kids you've never met, when in the northern suburbs of Perth, there are parents who sell their children. In the suburbs of Melbourne, there are parents who rent their kids out. Oh, wow, maybe you didn't know that. But you'll go and see a movie and go, oh my God. Give me a break. You know, am I a little fussed today? Yeah, I am. Yep. If I was standing in front of a rally, I'd give it what for. It's about time people stop pussyfooting. It's about time people stop playing into the matrix and decided which pill they're going to take, the red or the blue one. It's about time people had a look at the messages in songs that have been written hundreds of years, decades ago. The messages are there loud and clear. Loud and clear. When you look at someone, that'd be a coffin cheater, and apparently they're a rebel cause. I don't know anything about them. See, not my world. Change your focus, change your life. Go and have a listen to those songs. Better still, find the lyrics and read them. And the other one that is really poignant to me is Martin Luther King Jr. And his cry was, "I have a dream." I wrote a blog post about that several years ago. I have a dream. What did that one man do with his "I have a dream"? So for all of you who are caught in this matrix muck at the moment, do you want to come out of that and rise up and be someone who has a dream and who is actually going to step forward and take steps to make that dream be your reality? You join with like-minded people, yes, but you don't join with people who are stuck in a false reality, who are stuck in a false matrix. Begin to be more discerning. Be more discerning with what you read, what you believe, and what you're going to follow. That's the way that we are going to be that incredible light that is mentioned in Queen's song. Without that, then the darkness prevails, and I can tell you it's not prevailing on my watch, but that will be my world. So the joy of things is held in your heart. The joy of how we go forward is up to you. It's nothing to do with the government or what they're doing. It's up to you. Don't believe that they have the power, because they don't. You hold the power. Every one of us holds the power, and every one of us can hold the light. But when your thoughts are distracted and your thoughts are filled with fear, with worry, with what's coming, then in a way, you might as well concede defeat, because that's what you've done. I mentioned meeting with Senator Rennick, a man of no energy, a void, a space of nothing, empty words, just like every other politician. Is that my opinion? No, I can see beyond. I can see beyond the human face, the human suit that's standing there. So can you. And why do I say so can you? Because when you meet with someone, you instinctively feel a response. When you walk into a room and you're like, "Oh man, could cut this with a knife. The air's so thick." But you don't pay any heed to that. You don't pay any attention. Well, it's time you started paying attention. And instead of listening to the drivel that these politicians and would-be politicians want to offer you, meet with them. Go and spend time with them if you can. Good luck with that. And see what you can feel. You see, the human being, the real human being, is all about feeling and experiencing. And you can all do that. And that is how you're going to take us to the end of this war, which is what it is. You're going to take us to a victory in the light of God. No, I'm not religious. No way. Look at what the churches have done in the last 3 years. They're a bloody disgrace. Whoops. They're a disgrace. No man of God, higher consciousness, Allah, Buddha, whatever name you want to give it, Krishna, whatever, would ever do what they have done to their followers in this last few years. Where does that leave them? I'll leave that for you to think about. So, the voice. Well, to vote yes would be to buy into the government spin, would be to believe the propaganda. And what was Hitler's most wonderful trait? Propaganda. How did he get all those people to follow, as we're led to believe, his orders? Propaganda and fear. To vote no, guess you'd have to understand why you would vote no. And maybe you would come from a place of higher consciousness, awareness. To buy into politicians speak, as I said, it's where you're at, and that's fine. It's where you sit. That's your reality. And this is the joy of reality. You can actually create, as you all are and all have been in this time, create your own reality. Don't blame the government. Don't blame, that you had to do, because you didn't have to do anything. If there were more warriors of ethics and morals like Dr. William Bay and nurses that I associate with, biologists, microbiologists, science researchers, medical researchers that I associate with, if there were more of those in the world, would we be in a greater place? How do we know? Because if it's not one thing, it's another. Wars always have a timeline, and they are constructed. So how much you want to play into the construction of the construct, blue pill, red pill, it's up to you. But if you choose the one that makes it really hard, and you choose to believe what's put in front of you from the likes of government officials, propaganda, movies, whatever, well, that's so be it. But you remember, your choices have consequences. Your choices drive your reality. You have a right to embrace time, life with your loved ones. And that moment is now. That moment is every moment you can get to speak to them. That moment is every time you can spend time with them. Don't be in that place of, I wish I had have. I knew I should have. I wish I'd listened. That's not going to serve you. So while you're running around being fearful of a bell that's ringing at the present time, you are losing precious time that you can never, ever replace with people who matter to you. And it doesn't matter on the great divide of things. At the end of the day, it is love for those whom you love and those who matter to you. And you don't know what time is available to you. So please choose the golden pill, not the red, not the blue. Choose the golden pill and be the one who brings the light. It's not a fantasy. It's not a fairy tale. In fact, there's a really interesting thing I could talk to you about with the fairy tales. They're nothing like what you might think they are. But please, as I close today, and I thank you very much to those of you who joined me, thank you for taking the time. Thanks very much to Bob Jackson, also known as Robin. And thanks to Max Freedom, also known as Richie. Thank you. And my Facebook user and everyone else that came in. Thank you very much. Please think carefully about how you are going to be the change of the world, how you're going to live your reality. Check out your thoughts. Are they clean? Check out your eating. Is it clean? It all works. Work your own magic. And now, you know what I'm going to go and put on? Queen. It's a bit of magic. Thanks very much, everyone. See you next time.